Hi, my name is Piyush Pradhan. I welcome to the BSSS e-content video platform. I belong from the Department of English, BSSS. Today's topic is about comprehension or unseen passage. What exactly is comprehension or reading comprehension? We are going to look at in detail with every slides we have got. Now, in order to understand the introduction to comprehension, we're going to witness that comprehension is actually a process system of brain. So whenever a human brain has to process the available text or content, he's going to involve series of thoughts, opinions, assessments, calculations, emotional state, etc. So we are looking over time that if someone wants to be a writer, so he's going to read out the text, jot down the essential aspects of the text, and then he's going to use everything in the page in a very systematic way. So we are going to see how necessary analysis is actually done by the help of that writer when he takes up a specific theme and involves the chunk of that text or content. Now, what you read and comprehend time and again inside a parastructure of a passage is actually used as a writing as well as a reading aid. So these are the two essential things which my audience should be aware of. In other words, if I can say in a simple way that the comprehensibility of any content in writing is related predominantly to comprehend in reading skills. In the next slide, we are going to look at in brief or detail how to comprehend things through reading skills. Now, how to comprehend the things when we read out some content. Firstly, comprehension develops a capacity to read up the text. Then, a human brain can actually process that text very carefully, recognize the meaning of every sentence and the use of the words or the vocabulary, and further try to analyze it. So overall, we are looking at the gist of the overall comprehension. Now further, if I have to take up the way how the difficult words are comprehended, we need to learn that the things are enhanced and are processed in such a way that the reader's attention should not be hampered anywhere, all right? Because sometimes it is found that some of the readers have got the interference to use their intellect. They run short of vocabulary or sentence structures. So we have to be extra careful with that. Now, in the next point, our human brain should focus more on the sound use of the vocabulary. Plus, he should also focus on the reading strategies that are available in there handy. Now, to comprehend the particular content or text very sharply, one must witness the interaction between the words as per the specific knowledge which is implied by the writer for it at the first place. Proficient reading abilities is gained through the capacity of recognizing the words very quickly and effortlessly, which is in fact there at the very onset of the overall cognitive development of a human brain. Some learn through elementary education, others able to cope up and polish to reach up to the tertiary education stature, or while the rest as adults do it through direct experiences, their personal experiences. So there are different ways or categories of learning reading comprehension and to take up in brief. If a human brain is able to make inferences, then it is noticeable at a specific trait under which that human is recognized in the world due to his comprehensible skills. In this part of the slide, we are going to look at the techniques to attempt various forms of comprehensions. So techniques is what is going to make you realize what you are jotting down and taking up into consideration. We are going to look at certain points based on these techniques, such as Try to commence the text by reading quickly and then try to reread what you have just taken up in order to know its actual essence. Try to study the provided questions thoroughly, turning to the relevant portions of the passage or text. But please do not copycat the entire passage. This is what is witnessed among some of the people as they indulge themselves in trying to copycat. Now, with the aim of understanding given text, write short or very simple sentences. And even do not worry if your words are not crusty in nature. Do not add anything unnecessarily to generate confusion in the passage. This is also one of the biggest factor. There's lots of confusion found in the passage. It's because some fabricated words or decorative words are taken up in the passage part. So please don't try to do that. If you are asked to give the meaning of any phrase or perhaps a word, etc., try to express the idea behind it as clearly as it possibly could be. Now we are going to, in the next slide, look up the sample examples of a comprehension passage. Let's see how it is taken up. Now, over here, we are looking at the sample examples of a comprehension passage. How to break down and analyze the English tests, the prescribed texts we are dealing over here. Now, firstly, I'm going to actually take up the crucial aspect of this. For instance, the proper human skill, the way how he's going to summarize the things, how the vocabulary and the sentence structures are sequenced. Then, of course, we are going to look at the inferencing of the content, then comparing and contrasting. This is one of the most important feature of reading comprehension, comparing and further contrasting. Apart from that, you can clearly see on the slide there are different factors to take up. But at the surface level, as you can see, we have got proper blending of the words with the sentence structures, the huge use of the chunking of the content. If the passage is more than 200, 250 or 350 words, then of course the ability to find meaning of the new word. One more technique or trick is to make mind movies before you read something. Then lastly, you reread something. And finally, reading ahead. So these are certain ways or the aspects through which you can at the surface level understand what is reading comprehension and how to take up further. Now let's push along to another slide. Now we have actually reached to the slide that includes the perfect example of a comprehension. We're going to look at informational or expository reading. This is also called as expositive. All right? This is actually the feature we are going to see in the next 1 and 2 minutes and try to understand that. Firstly comes the title, then comes the appropriate heading, then of course the other necessary elements. For instance, the print needs to be having a font that needs to be very bold, there should be proper caption, use of the sidebars or maps, whatever way you want to take it. That's how we try to manage and learn it. So I want you to please focus very carefully on this. Try to read out this stuff in the yellow highlighter. Student volunteers needed on Saturday, December the 12th, 2020 from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Carverton College, Daytona will be holding a music festival in the college auditorium. I'm trying to highlight it for you because when we are going to change it into the question pattern, so you will have the convenience of understanding that. All right? So it is about the special event which will feature a variety of professional musicians and singers. This is actually the task chart, including the task block, the amount of time involved, and of course the specific date. Everything is crystal clear. these are the details, and we have to focus on this, including its time and the date. This part also includes a note that says interested volunteers should speak with Miss Braxton, who is actually the music teacher. Students who would like to help at the festival must have written permission from a parent. So overall, as I have explained you this complete task, you'll find that this highlighted portion is what you're supposed to keep in your brain, which you're going to further comprehend. Let's see how we can proceed understanding this part. For instance, I'm not beginning with the use of the questions. Rather, I've got the things available in the form of MCQs. What time will the festival begin? Now, looking at that chart that we have just learned, we are going to immediately comprehend what time the festival begin. Second, in line 3, the word feature is closest in meaning to. You have to fetch the necessary information. Do not be scared. Everything is there with the chart of the comprehension to tell you and explain you the answers. Look at these more options that we have. For instance, this third one, what job will be done the day before the festival begin? Again, we have got the choices in A, B, C and D. So whatever relates it, that's how we are going to take it. And lastly, in point number 4, who is told to talk to Miss Braxton? Now, if you could just remember that in the previous slide, while I was making you to focus on the note given below, that's how you are going to make up the proper answers out of A, B, C or D. Let us just take up easily readable comprehension passage now. This was quite tough for most of us, but in the next slide, this easy readable passage is going to be more helpful for my audience. Let's take it up. Now I want my audience to please look at this part of the slide, which involves very easy readable comprehension passage. One thing you are going to notice while you're going to read is that we are going to concentrate on the word tsunami. So this passage is overall based on tsunami. Read out for a while and then we are going to work on the questions. Hope my audiences have read this comprehension passage very carefully. Now I'm going to read out some handful of questions related to that passage of tsunami we have just completed. Question number 1. Why is December 26, 2004 a black day for the world? What does tsunami mean? What happened in the year 1737? Can anything be done about tsunami? And lastly, find a word from the passage which means the same as troubled. So these were not just the imaginative questions, but these are the questions which I have extracted out of that easy readable passage only. We're going to further look at the same criteria, but this time we are going to see how much tough the entire exercise can become relating to tough use of the comprehension passage. Well, this slide is one of that. As you can read out from the top, there are different ways and the varieties, the variations, which we can take up in order to understand tough use of the comprehension passage. As you can see it very clearly, how exactly the things are available. This part of the slide does not match with what we have actually done in the previous slides, but this is the part of the section which I extracted out of one of the tough use of the comprehension passage. So as you can read out the different ways how there are variations in that. See how clearly we are able to understand. I hope all of my audiences have truly liked this video of comprehension. I'm going to come up with such videos in the future as well. Thank you so much for spending time. Goodbye to you.